with the first pick.
At the NFL draft, there was no suspense at the top. Titans had their eyes on Miami quarterback Cam Ward the whole way, and they took him first overall. He was a zero-star recruit coming out of high school. Started his college career at Incarnate Word and kept improving from Washington State to the Hurricanes, and now he's a #1 overall draft pick in the NFL.
I knew I would get drafted pretty high. I think I'm one of the best players in this draft. I'm deserving, this honor. But at the end of the day, draft pick don't mean nothing. It's all about how you produce on the field, the type of teammate you are in the locker room. And at the end of the day, it's about wins. Wins judge everything. And as a quarterback, you got to go, put on for it every Sunday. I just think keeping that chip on my shoulder that I had my whole life. I've been waiting for this moment since I was 6 years old. I knew I would go pro in something. I just prayed about it every day, and I also worked hard every day. And so, I'm ready. And it's going to be adversity in the road. I know that's coming. That's part of the quarterback position, but I'm the right person to have adversity with.
Now, the intrigue began at #2. Jaguars traded up from #5 in a deal with the Browns. And with that pick, Jacksonville chose Colorado two-way star and Heisman winner Travis Hunter. Hunter said the Jags had both their offensive and defensive coordinators on their call with him, so he should contribute at receiver and cornerback. He spoke with Molly McGrath afterwards.
I mean, they ain't talking to me since the combine, so I'm super excited to be able to go back home and be able to play for an organization that thought I was worthy of trading up and getting.
What kind of conversations did you have with the Jag staff about where they see you playing for them?
I mean, they told me they was going to let me go out there and do what I do, so they put me on phone with both coordinators, so I'm going to just go out there and just do what I can do.
Jags with that big investment in Trevor Lawrence, and they get him some help. They made a splash that fans were looking for, but they gave up a lot to land Hunter. They sent the 5th overall pick, a 2nd and a 4th rounder in this year's draft, and its first-round pick next year to the Browns. Jaguars also receive a 4th and a 6th in this year's draft.
All right, so how about the rest of the top 6? The Giants took Abdul Carter out of Penn State and added him to an already strong D-line. Lawrence, Burns, Thibodeau, and now Carter. How about New England? The Patriots, when it was time for them to jump on the clock, they went O-line and took Will Campbell out of LSU, who said on the stage he was going to, quote, fight and die,
wow,
end quote, to protect Pat's second-year quarterback Drake May. Campbell, believe it or not, just the second LSU offensive lineman to go in round 1 since 1967.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, the Browns were on the other end of that trade with the Jags. Michigan D lineman Mason Graham got the phone call to Cleveland. Graham trying to add to that talented Browns defense alongside, of course, Myles Garrett. And at 6, Raiders selected Heisman runner-up Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, the highest drafted player in school history. And the 5th running back the Raiders have selected in the first round of the common draft era. Yeah, how about the rest of the top 10? The Jets went offensive tackle Armand Membu to help protect new quarterback Justin Fields. Carolina went wide receiver and went to Tucson, Arizona to find him. Tetero and McMillan to give Bryce Young another target entering his 3rd season.
Who that at #9?
Yeah, Stan Saints bolstering the trenches with Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. And how about my Bears? Bear down. Colson Loveland out of Michigan, not Tyler Warren out of Penn State, the tight end, to give Caleb Williams another option in Ben Johnson's new look offense. Hey, the Giants weren't done with Abdul Carter at 3. New York traded back into the first round, moved up 9 spots to pick number 25 to select Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. The Rebels' record-setting signal caller joins a Giants QB room that already added Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. The Texans got picked 34, 99 in this year's draft, plus a 3rd rounder next year. And once the dust settled in round 1, we did not hear Shedeur Sanders' name called. The Colorado quarterback, going back a few months, at one point was looked at as one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to go #1 overall. But ultimately, he's going to have to wait until day 2.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary. Ooh.
And now we're going to chat with someone who was there in Green Bay on site as the coverage unfolded on ESPN. Riddick is with us. And, Louis, I'm going to preface my first question by saying this. Congratulations to Cam Ward for being the first quarterback off the board, the #1 overall pick. Obviously, everybody is aware of what the conversation is right now in the aftermath of that first round and getting ready for day 2, and that's what didn't happen with Shedeur Sanders. You go back to November, he was the betting favorite to go #1 overall, and here he is available after day 1. What's your perspective on how the process has played out for Sanders?
Look, I think there's a lot of things surrounding Shedeur Sanders that had nothing to do with his play on the football field that may be altering his draft stock. Because honestly, if you objectively evaluated him and you took the name off the back of his jerseys and you didn't think of all the other things that may or may not come along with him, which is his family name, his father, the very confident attitude, the kind of things that a lot of times we will praise in one person, but we'll knock him down in the case of a guy like Shedeur Sanders because of maybe the fact that he's Deion Sanders' son. If you just kind of look at the football player, you would say, look, this guy is one of the most accurate players in all of college football. He was a guy who didn't have any offensive line help, didn't have any running game help. He was someone who can deliver the football at all 3 levels of the football field. He has more than enough athletic ability to pick up first downs with his legs. He's a guy who lifted 2 programs, starting at Jackson State, going to Colorado, along with obviously a bunch of other players like Travis Hunter. Why wouldn't you really strongly consider someone like that to be a potential franchise quarterback and worthy of being a first-round pick? Obviously, there's other concerns, or there's some kind of concern that I can't quite put my finger on that causes him to slide out of the first round. But for Shedeur now, it's about where you go, not when you go anymore. And in the end, it can wind up working out just fine for him. But this has got to sting. This is painful, but he'll use it as motivation, as will the rest of his family in terms of how they rallied behind him.
You talk about the when and where. How about Shedeur's teammate and very good friend, Travis Hunter? He went right away as the Jacksonville Jaguars are bringing him home to the state of Florida, trading up with the Cleveland Browns. And that's a big swing for first-time GM James Gladstone in Duval. And he had this quote afterwards: there are very few opportunities. It's rare to be able to target and prioritize a player who can alter the sport itself, in talking about Travis Hunter. Do you agree with that assessment? And what do you think of the fit for him in Jacksonville?
I absolutely do. Look, Mel Kiper said it best. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting 2 players in one. So that's where Gladstone is talking about the fact that this is a guy who can alter the game of football, the game of professional football itself, because he's a guy who we've never seen anyone like him come into the league before, in terms of being a guy who could legitimately probably handle playing 100-plus snaps a game for 17 weeks. Now, I don't know if that'd be the smart thing to do, but he could handle it. He's one of the most conditioned athletes on earth. He has some of the most rare skills that I have ever seen on a football field. And I've seen a lot of great players, going back to the days when I was a kid, hanging out in Buffalo and Green Bay, up here with my cousins who were playing pro football at the time. He is a true unicorn, a unique one-of-one type of player. Was it worth it for them to go get him? Absolutely, I believe it is, especially if he can give them the return on investment that they think he's going to give them. Do I like the fit? Travis Hunter can fit on any football team. It don't matter what team. All 32 teams, yeah, Travis Hunter fits. He fits because he's instantly going to be probably one of your best 2 or 3 players on the football field. He's one of the best 2 or 3 athletes walking the face of the earth here in the United States. He's just that good. And I know that sounds like hyperbole on a night where we're celebrating a lot of great athletes, but it's truth. It's fact. And you'll see that this fall when he gets on the field.
Another fact, Louis Riddick and the crew crushed it in Green Bay. Night 1 of the NFL draft is in the books. Thanks for being with us. Get some rest before day 2. And most importantly, get out of the cold, please.
No question. Thanks.
Thanks.
SportsCenter on the
Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là quả nhót. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cây nhót. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nha. Mọi người ơi, đây là màu xanh nha.